All right, energy. So, what do you know about energy? When you when we eat, so why do we eat,
Mhm.
by the way?
And to gain energy.
Yes, why we eat? To gain energy. Okay. To get energy. Okay. Acha, will we be able to walk if we do not
Mhm.
have energy? No. That means in order to do something, we we need energy. Okay. Acha, uh, can we can we store the energy?
Sorry?
Can we store the energy?
Uh,
Okay. So what does battery or cell store?
I don't know. I
Okay.
don't know.
Take it. So do you think they have energy?
Yes.
Yes. So because when we connect any appliance with the cell or a battery, okay, so it you know works. Okay.
Mhm.
That means they get the energy from the cell or a battery, right? So that means the cell or battery stores energy. Okay.
Mhm.
So energy can be stored. Acha, can we say energy can be transferred?
Yes.
Okay. So energy energy can be transferred. Okay, because when we walk or when we apply force to any object, when we apply force to any object, the object moves from one point to another point. Yes. So do you
Mhm.
think have we transferred energy as a head? For example, this is the box, right? And you apply force on this box. Okay,
Mhm.
you apply force on this box. Definitely this box will tend to move to the direction where the force is applied. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think our energy is transferred to the box? That's how the box is able to move from one point to another point.
Mhm.
Okay. So
Yes.
by applying force, okay, we when we apply force, we transfer energy. Okay, we transfer energy, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
When we apply force, we transfer energy, and through energy transfer, the things move. Okay, through energy transfer, the things move. Clear? Okay.
Mhm.
So we can summarize that energy can be stored. Energy can be stored or transferred. Right? Okay?
Mhm.
Stored or transferred. This is the main concept you have to keep in your mind. The second thing is the ability to do to do the ability to do anything. Okay, we need energy. We need energy. Okay. Acha. So there should be the list of there should be the list of the types of energies that can be stored or transferred. Okay.
Hmm.
So let's categorize s- store form of energy, store form of energy, and transferred form. Okay, transferred form of energy, right? So what we know about the energy, that there are different types of energies, right? And we can, categorize under store and transfer. Okay. So the very first energy, without that, you cannot move, right? Or when you move, that means it is stored in your body, and that is the kinetic energy. Okay, that is a kinetic energy. Okay, so kinetic energy is a stored form of energy. Kinetic energy is a stored energy. Okay, uh, due to movement, right? Acha ji. Similarly, gravitational potential, gravitational potential Gravitational potential energy is also the stored form of energy, right?
Hmm.
Acha, do you know about gravitational potential energy? How can we say that which object has gravitational potential energy?
Uh,
Okay, so let's discuss this and then we can proceed. Uh, Gravitational potential energy, when objects falls or rise. Okay, okay. When objects fall or rise, then they have gravitational potential energy, and we simply write it GPE. And in some books, it is denoted by capital E and with small p, gravitational potential. Okay. Gravitational potential energy can be denoted with GPE or capital E small p. Got it? Clear? So if I lift any object from the surface of the earth, if I lift any object, okay, so it will
hmm.
cover some height. Clear? It will cover some height, right? So
Yes.
does that object have mass? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the mass is also involved, and the gravitational field strength is also involved. Gravitational field strength, that is G. Okay. So height is involved, gravitational field strength is involved, and the mass is there. Okay. Mass is there. So that means the three things are involved, okay, in GPE. And GPE can be calculated, okay, by using this formula mgh, where m is the mass of the object, g is the strength of gravity, right? And h is the height. Okay. H is the height
Hmm.
that is covered when the object is lifted. Okay. Clear?
Yes.
All right. So next form of stored energy. Acha, do you think sound and light are also form of energies?
Yes.
Yes. So can we say that uh, transferred energy can be sound energy? Why? Because it cannot be stored, right? It's a very simple concept. So you how will you store the sound? You cannot store the sound, right? You cannot store the waves. Okay.
Yes.
Sound energy. Acha, you cannot store the light energy. Okay. So
Hmm.
most of the energies that travel through the waves, they cannot be stored. They must be transferred. Okay. Light always transfer in the form of waves. Sound also transfers in the form of waves. Clear? Got
Hmm.
it?
Yes.
Right. So another form of energy that can be transferred is electrical energy, right? Okay. Again, electrical energy that travels in the form of the waves. Okay. That's why it is the transferred energy. Acha, whenever we want to store the electrical energy, we can store in the form of chemical energy, right? Okay. Whenever we want to store the electrical energy, it can be stored in the form of chemical energy. That's why the batteries and the cells are used. This is clear?
Uh, yes.
Okay. So chemical energy is a chemical energy is chemical energy is the stored energy. Okay. Okay. And in which devices we can store chemical energy in cell or battery. Okay.
Uh,
Store stored in cell or battery in the form of chemicals. In the form of
chemical.
chemicals. Clear?
Yes.
All right. So what I have shared with you that if you want to store the electrical energy or light energy, it can be stored in the form of the chemical energy. Once you store the chemical energy, you can utilize it, and you can take the chemical energy out in the form of the electrical or light energy, depending on the device, what device you are using. Is this clear?
Yes.
Got it? Okay, so sound energy is done. Okay, that transfers from one point to another point in the form of the vibration of the particles, right? When particles
Hmm.
vibrate along the direction of the energy transfer, then the sound transfer from one point to another point, and we will discuss in detail in chapter number 6. Okay, then light energy.
Hmm.
Light energy is also the form of energy that transfer from one point to another point in the form of the waves, right? Especially in the form of electromagnetic waves. Okay, and then after that
Hmm.
we have electrical energy. Now, one form of energy is thermal energy. Okay,
Uh,
Yes, so thermal energy can be stored or transferred. Remember, if thermal energy is stored, so it can be stored for a very short span of time, right? Okay, but
Hmm.
mostly it is transferred in the form of the heat. Okay, mostly heat is transferred in the form of, or we can say mostly heat is transferred um, via conduction, right?
Hmm.
Conduction, convection, convection, or in the form of radiation. ठीक है?
Hmm.
ठीक है? Infrared radiation. ठीक है? So conduction, convection, and radiation. Mostly heat is transferred via conduction, convection, and radiation. ठीक है? So inshallah, we will be discussing the three processes of heat transfer, okay, in grade 9 book. Okay, Saeed. So for just you know in grade 7, we will not be discussing the processes of heat transfer in detail. Okay, but you should keep this concept in your mind that thermal energy can be stored or transferred when heat is transferred. Heat and thermal energy is the same thing. Heat energy or a thermal energy is the same thing, right? So when we say the heat transfers, so it will be transferred through the process of conduction, or it will be transferred through the process of convection or radiation. Okay, so it depends
Hmm.
in which medium it is taking place, right?
Hmm.
Acha, there are other stored energy. There are other form of the stored energy. Uh, One is elastic potential. Okay, elastic potential energy. Have you ever heard about the elastic potential energy? No? Acha, if you have a rubber band or any elastic material, okay, when
Hmm.
you stretch it, so what will happen? Will your energy be stored in it?
Yes.
Yes. So your energy is transferred to that elastic material and it is stored in the form of elastic potential energy in that rubber band. Is this clear? You have the
Yes.
rubber band, you have any elastic material. When you stretch it, when you apply force, okay, so what are you doing? You are applying force, you are transferring your energy. Once the energy is transferred into the band, what is going to happen? The band will definitely get stretched. Okay, the band
Hmm.
will definitely get stretched and it will store the energy. That energy will be called as elastic potential energy. Is this clear to you?
Hmm.
Okay, so stored in elastic material. Clear? Okay.
Yes.
Acha, there's another form of energy that is nuclear energy. Okay,
Sorry.
nuclear energy.
Uh,
Okay, so nuclear energy uh, is should be considered as should be considered as transfer. Okay, so energy uh, is always a transfer energy. Okay, in the form of in the form of uh, rays. Okay? And there are two processes that are involved in nuclear energy. One process is fission and one process is called fusion. Okay? Nuclear energy is a transferred energy. Okay? One process is called in nuclear fission and one is fission, right? So in fusion, what happens is in fusion, what happens? In fusion, the smaller nuclei combine together to make a larger nuclei, right? Two things or more than two things are combining and making one larger nuclei. Okay, so that the energy involved in it or the energy transfers takes place. Okay, that will be considered under the process of nuclear fusion, right? And when it comes fission, so fission is what? Splitting a larger atom, right? Splitting a larger atom to splitting a larger atom to two or more smaller ones. Larger atom, splitting a larger atom into two or smaller atoms. Clear? Is this clear to you? So, what are the
Yes.
two processes that are involved in nuclear energy? Okay. One
Fission
is
and fusion.
fusion. Okay. Is this clear now? So thermal energy
Yes.
is transferred and stored. Nuclear energy is also stored. Electrical energy is also transferred. Light energy is also transferred. Sound energy is also transferred. Got it? Clear? Okay.
Yes.
So, acha, now we are going to describe the energy transfer methods that how energy moves between stores. ठीक है, यानी एक फॉर्म में एनर्जी स्टोर हो गई, अब दूसरे फॉर्म में किस तरह ट्रैवल कर रही होती है. So explain how energy moves between stores. Explain how energy moves Yes, so energy moves between the stores either in the form of the mechanical work, right? ठीक है, mechanical way. ठीक है, how can we say it's a mechanical way? Because the work must be done. ठीक है, work must be done. ठीक है, by applying force. So whenever we apply force, the work should be done. That means the object should be moved from one point to another point. This is how the energy moves from one point to another point through the work done. Okay. Another way of transfer the energy, that is the electrical energy. Okay, electrical. That is the electrical way. Okay. And this is done via currents. via current or flow of charges or flow of charges, right?
Hmm.
So energy moves between the stores in the form of the heating, right? So which processes should be involved? Either either conduction via conduction or convection or radiation. Clear? ठीक है?
Yes.
Acha, when we say in the form of the waves, so the energy can move in the form of the electromagnetic waves. Okay,
Hmm.
electromagnetic waves. Okay, and what are electromagnetic waves? You just simply say that it's a combination of the electric and magnetic field. Okay, and then the detail of electromagnetic waves will be discussed in grade 9, right? Okay,
Hmm.
right? So now you should know in which case which energy is involved. Okay, kinetic energy when the objects are moving, right? When the objects are moving, okay, when the objects are having a particular speed, then they must have the kinetic energy. Okay, acha,
Hmm.
when the object is lifting, is going up or coming down, so it will have a gravitational potential energy. Is this clear? Okay.
Yes.
Acha, when we say the cell or a battery stores energy, so it must store in the form of the
Hmm.
chemical energy, right? Clear? Acha,
Yes.
when we are stretching any elastic material, right, or we are compressing the spring, we are stretching the spring, that means which energy is stored in that material? Elastic potential energy. Is this clear to you
Hmm.
now? ठीक है?
Yes.
अच्छा, when we say the particles are vibrating, ठीक है, along the direction of the energy transfer, ठीक है, so or if there's any device that is producing any sound, so you must say that sound energy is transferred. ठीक है?
Hmm.
अच्छा, when we say the
Yes.
bulb is there or torch is there, ठीक है, so you must say the light energy is transferred. Clear? Similarly,
Yes.
when the electrical circuit is given to you, right, or any electrical appliance is connected, so you must say the electrical energy is involved in it. Is this clear? ठीक है?
Yes.
Acha, when we say the how the thermal energy is involved, because when objects become hot, right? So they must store thermal energy for a short span of time, and after that, it will be transferred either in the form of the conduction, convection, or radiation. ठीक है? This is
Hmm.
the summary of today's
Yes.
lecture. Is this clear now? ठीक है? And
Yes.
whenever we talk about the splitting of the nucleus, right? Whenever we talk about the splitting of the nuclei, either smaller to the larger or from larger to the smaller, so two processes are involved. One process is fusion, one process is fission. Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay, so I hope there is no confusion now. Okay, inshallah, in the next class we will be discussing the topic how the energy is conserved. Okay, right, and we'll
Yes.
be doing some questions.
What class?
चलें, ओके जी, अल्लाह हाफिज़, अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
Yes.